Okay, thank you very much, Anto. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Thank you so much for coming. Hello, people at home. Good morning. I'm very happy to be here sharing this sermon with you because when I listened to the speech of Trumade last Sunday, I was very inspired. It was a very short speech, but very powerful. And not only inspiring, but it also made me reflect a lot. And my reflection is what I want to share with you in this sermon. And a small science class. Because we are going to talk about magnet. Be a magnet, no? But first we have to know what a magnet is. These are magnets. I don't know why, but when I was a small boy, I was always fascinated by magnets. I don't know if you have ever seen a damaged speaker. The speakers, they have a magnet inside. And in Venezuela, sometimes they would get damaged and be thrown in the garbage, and I was always looking for the speaker to take the magnet out. I would spend hours playing with the magnets, you know. I never understood how come this thing can stick to a metal and they can stick to each other or run away from each other. I don't know why my boy mind found that so fascinating, but it's really interesting, no? And after hearing Trumade's speech, I went deep to know a bit more about magnets, no? And try to understand what Trumade wants to tell us. What does being a magnet means for us as people, no? So let's study one of the properties of magnets, no? The definition of a magnet is a material that creates a magnetic field, basically. And there are a few metals, like iron, lithium, cobalt, that have the ability to create this magnetic field. Not all metals in the world are able to be a magnet. So, for example, gold, silver, they are not magnetic. So, magnets, they have a north pole and a south pole. Just like the Earth, right? So it turns out that the Earth, our beautiful planet, it's also a huge magnet. And that's why the North Pole is called North Pole and the South Pole, South Pole. However, there are pieces of iron that are not magnets. Not all iron in the world is a magnet, right? And this is what is super interesting. When you see a normal piece of iron, it is something like this. The particles are in a very random position. And every single particle of the magnet, of this metal, it's also like a tiny magnet. That's how it works. However, if they are in a random setting, this piece of metal is not becoming magnet. But when the particles align and they are in an orderly manner, then the metal becomes magnetic and creates this magnetic field. So there is a very clear analogy on magnets and the divine principle, no? True parents have always told us that we have to be in harmony with ourselves, no? Mind and body unity, to be aligned with God's truth. So in order to become a magnet, there is a prerequisite, no? There is internal harmony, internal order. Because without this order, we cannot create a magnetic field. So this is very interesting for me. Like, Trumade has this ability to come up with these analogies that it's very impressive, no? A few years ago, it was like be like a sunflower, no? and now it's be like a magnet. It's so interesting. So if we want to be magnets, we have to be in harmony with ourselves. This is one of my first conclusions, no? and reflections. So this magnetic field is invisible. But if you put iron filings are like tiny pieces of iron around the magnet, then you can see the shape of the magnetic field. This is basically a magnet put like on a table, and then you put a white paper on top, and then you sprinkle the iron filings around, and it will create this beautiful and harmonious shape, no, of the magnetic field. And it's very interesting because in the divine principle we also have this internal nature, external form. That the internal nature is invisible, we cannot see it, but it's manifested in the external form. No? So one way of manifesting this magnetic field is to put visible things around, no? and see its shape. But magnets are not only things that attract other metals, but there is also a property of repulsion. You remember the North Pole and South Pole? If they are the same, they will repel each other. And if they are opposite, they will attract each other. This we know. This repulsion property is also very, very important, and we will see why in a second. But interestingly, Trumare said, be a magnet to true parents. Be aligned with true parents. And when the two magnets are aligned, the magnetic field gets amplified and gets even stronger. So when True Father tells us, True Mother is telling us, be aligned with true parents, be a magnet to true parents, stick together. It's like, let's stick together and let's make this magnetic field bigger and stronger to attract all the people of the world, no? Talking about repulsion and the Earth being a big magnet, repulsion creates protection, actually. If it wasn't for the magnetic properties of the Earth, there couldn't be life on Earth. From time to time, the sun makes some kind of explosions. This is called solar winds, which are basically particles that are traveling very, very fast, and they are positively charged. If these particles hit the Earth or a human being, it's impossible to live, basically. It will destroy everything. And even this disrupts communication, satellites. It's very aggressive. The sun is actually really, really aggressive. But the magnetic field of the Earth is protecting us from this. So being a magnet also creates like a protection around us. We not only attract things, but we also create a protection around us. So this is very powerful because being a magnet, or if we join together as a magnet, we create a field that is very safe, and we are protected. So, and this is what causes this phenomenon, the northern lights. Maybe our Finnish brother Anto knows this very well. These green things you see are basically these particles of the sun that they want to hit the Earth, but the magnetic field like drive all this to the North Pole, basically. And they crash with other particles in the atmosphere, and then this light is created. So And it's beautiful, right? So magnets also create beauty. Incredibly, no? So being a magnet is also being a creator or to radiate beauty, no? So yeah, this is the end of the science class. And now I want to kind of bring all this to people, not to us. If you think about people who are magnetic, like, I don't know, maybe you have someone in mind that you look forward to be close to this person. How is this person? Think of someone. There is even research and psychological studies and everything that identify certain traits that are kind of magnetic. No? Like when people have these traits, they are the center of the party. No? Everyone wants to talk to them. Everyone wants to be close to them, and so on. No? I have put a few here that I have basically experienced since I joined the movement. Because before I knew anything about the divine principle or true parents or anything, I didn't have so much of these traits, you know? But when I came to the workshops and to the center in Venezuela, there were people with these traits. And that's why I wanted to keep coming, no? For example, True Mother told us, be confident and be courageous. Tell people who you are. When you see someone who is confident and courageous, it's magnetic. You want to be with these kind of people, no? Because if someone is doubting, imagine, let's go somewhere, I don't know, okay. It's there is no incentive to follow, no? But when you see someone who is very, let's go, let's do this, then you get like, oh, yes, let's do it. And this attraction, this between the two magnets becomes possible, no? Loving, caring, happy, celebrate others, people's victories. This is very magnetic. Empathic, to listen. There is a saying that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we should listen twice as the thing we talk, no? Twice as much as we talk. Service, vision, sacrifice, compliment. When someone sacrifices something, for us, this is also very magnetic. That's why Christianity has survived for 2,000 years. Because the notion is that Jesus sacrificed for us, no? In the cross. This is how they see it. And wow, who wouldn't want to follow the teachings and to be close to someone who gave his life for us, no? Compliment. I have many, many stories with all of these traits, but I want to tell you only one about caring, no? One of the things of living in a tropical country, like Venezuela, is that the weather is very beautiful, very nice, all year long in summer, which means that you have mosquitoes all year long. And from time to time, there are some bacteria or something growing in the water. Then the mosquito goes to this water. And then when they bite you, they might make you sick. In Venezuela, there is always a new sickness that comes from a mosquito. It's very common to have this. In 2015, there was a very strange illness called Chikunguja. This is a very strange name as well. That also came from the mosquito. And the symptoms of this illness was like fever, headache, and a pain in the joints. like your elbow, your knees, like here, the knuckles. And I happened to be bit by a mosquito that gave me this illness. And it was really, really bad, I have to say. Like, very high fever. I couldn't move because every single movement was very painful. Because every time you move a joint, it would hurt a lot. So I was just in bed, like, I didn't want to move a finger because if I move a finger, it would hurt. And at that time, I was already living in the center. And one brother, he took care of me when I was in this situation. Because the treatment was like to take a lot of water and one specific medicine every 2 hours. And of course, if you are in pain of moving, it's very difficult to go to the fridge and to take some water or something. But this brother, he was coming like every half an hour to give me water. Every 2 hours he came with the medicine and gave it to me. Just like my mom would do, And this caring was very magnetic for me, and I was so impressed, like, wow, how come this person that, we're not family or anything, we are just members of the same movement, but he takes so much care of me, like, and I'm very fortunate to have many, many stories like this with many people in many countries, that they do things for you, they sacrifice for you, they serve you. And I think this is why I'm here, honestly. Because the people who have this trait are magnetic to me, And to anyone, actually. And that's why it's like, especially at the beginning, when you are just learning about the divine principle and so on, you have these moments of doubt, like, is this something I should follow? Because sometimes it gets difficult, But then when you see that you don't find this so much in the world, it's like, okay, even though it's difficult, I stay here. It's because I feel safe, I feel cared about, I feel that I'm important, I'm listened to, So all these traits will make your magnetic field bigger and bigger and stronger. The more of these traits you have, and there are probably more that are not in the list, but are also like tiny magnets, that if you join them, you will become more and more magnetic, And I also, since I was a boy, that's why when I came out of high school, I started studying mechanical engineering, because I also like logic, and putting things together and measuring things, performance and so on. And while I was preparing the sermon, I was thinking of something like, wow, how do you measure this magnetic field of you as a person? Because a normal magnet, there are instruments that you can easily measure the magnetic field for the magnet itself. But as a person, how do you measure this, And this was a very deep reflection for me, because it's something I have been thinking like for a while, that I had this thought. But now it became conscious to me. That is a way of measuring how magnetic I am, And this is my reflection. And I want to also invite you to do this, Imagine tomorrow something happens that all members of our movement just disappear. And it's only left you and True Mother. Put yourself in this situation. No? You have no one else that believes what you believe, or there is no Sunday service anymore, there is not a center, there is only you and True Mother. And then you find a way to go to Korea, and then you are with True Mother there, in the Cheonggyeong-gung. So now it's not True Mother talking in a stadium filled with thousands of people and screens with many more thousands of people watching online. It's only you and True Mother, personally. What do you think is True Mother going to tell you? How will True Mother treat you? Think about that for a moment. And now, think what's your reaction. What do you tell True Mother? How do you behave in front of her? And when she tells you to do something, how do you respond to that, no? When I was thinking of this, it was very difficult for me. Because I don't know. I know it's a very hypothetical, almost impossible situation. But for me to see it this way, it's very important to kind of measure myself in which point, or how magnetic, how close to True Mother I am. So in this situation, imagine what would happen with the movement, no? And God's providence. Will it die once True Mother passes away and you pass away, or will it grow and flourish again? And I personally think that that's the point of this message of True Mother, no? Of being a magnet, to stick with her, stick to true parents, and being bold and courageous, and moving things forward to attract also others, no? Because that's the only way that the movement can be stronger and attract the 7 billions of people who are living on the earth, no? This is what True Mother wants. So, with that in mind, I invite you to reflect very deeply about this, no? All these points, no? How is the alignment within myself, within my family, in a community, in society? How is the alignment with True Mother? How is close to True Mother I am? Because True Mother is very magnetic, no? She's very brave, but how close I am to her, and how magnetic I am to other people, no? To my family, my friends, or other people outside the movement. Because from this, basically depends the destiny, no? Of our movement going forward. So I'm very happy that the Vienna community is a very magnetic community as well. This makes me very happy. I feel good being here. And also many people have moved from other countries here, no? They find it good environment, good city, good people, good community. And I think we all have this potential, no, of becoming more and more magnetic every day, no? So I'm sure through Mother, when you are alone with her, she will tell you, be bold and courageous, no? Go forward. Don't be afraid. Don't doubt that the Chikunguja is coming, no? We are already in the 9th year of the Chikunguja. So this vision is also something we have to stick to, no? To be close to this vision. And to be close to the one who is carrying this vision forward, no? So with that, I want to thank you for being a magnet. Have a magnetic week.